All right, some more thoughts on parenting. So another thought on parenting is, ironically enough too, I just said that the park is good. Also, parks kind of suck too, because why? A, the bathrooms are quite disgusting and gross. I don't even think Seneca likes using them. The good thing about going to private enterprises like those, millennial indoor outdoor beer hall playground places, or even going to like the mall or the Irvine Spectrum, whatever, because it's a for-profit enterprise, they actually employ people who clean the bathrooms all the time. Way cleaner, more hygienic. Hygiene is actually quite important. And yeah, so like even taking your kid to the mall is not bad. Just walk around and just try to figure out how to do some urban parkour somewhere. Also, as parents, right, like essentially you know best / your instincts are the best. I think the negative bias is every parent thinks that every other parent should parent like they do, but that's what they call tyranny. I'm more for, this sounds bad, but I think it's more honest, is kind of like care less about other people's kids and just kind of like let other parents do what they think is best. Like, even though you think it's kind of basic or backwards, I'm like, dude, just leave them alone. It's like, actually, if you think about it, if you're really, really honest, right? If you saw yourself and your kid as the most superior thing, when you see other people parent what you consider backwards or basic or whatever, like, it shouldn't really bother you, because you're just like, oh, those, parents or their kids are just like, not as lofty as us. So if they want to do eat the stupid Gerber's, snack foods, or the Cheerios or whatever, like let them be, right? Like, it's cool, right? It's kind of like I'm finna go to McDonald's and tell all these people, stop eating McDonald's and soda, it's bad for you. Like, just like let people do. Or I'm not gonna tell people stop drinking frappuccinos. Like, people want to drink the frappuccinos, they want to get the diabetes. That's to their accord. I think it's only the only difference is when you want to, and okay, when you want to share certain ideas and concepts which you feel strongly about because you just feel like there's disinformation out there. So for example, I'm super anti like Coke Zero, Diet Coke, 0-calorie crap stuff, because I think it still causes obesity, makes you fat, even though it has quote 0 calories in it. Why is it? My theory is like a hormonal signaling process where, I don't know if they've done scientific studies on this, but let us say you drink a Coke Zero or like some sort of zero sweetener thing like monk fruit or whatever, something that tastes sweet essentially, right? Certainly your body will still think it's sweet and therefore inject insulin into your body to deal with the so-called incoming sugar rush. It's kind of like the Pavlov's dogs, the slobbering dogs effect. You ring a bell and the dog starts to slobber. So we've been conditioned in certain ways, and also our body's been trained to certain ways to predict certain behaviors. Even this one guy I met at the gym named Jesse, dude used to be like over 300 pounds and stuff, started going to the gym and stopped eating sugar and crap, and then he lost and then he leaned up a lot more, and now I think he's only like 200 pounds or something. And he told me being fat, I'm like, what's the biggest misconception? He's like, it's like a disease. It's like, if you're fat, it's like your brain is wired differently in a weird way. So it's like, don't treat people as like having poor virtuosity, but just treat it like a disease. Like, if a dog has rabies, you don't blame the dog for having rabies. It's just, the dog has rabies, it's like either you're gonna treat it or just stay away, right? And I think the thing too is with diseases, sicknesses, illnesses, whatever, right? You have two options. Once again, to treat it, or B, you don't care enough about the thing or the person or whatever to keep your distance. So for example, like, I'm so glad that I don't have like a quote real job, so I could more or less be Seneca's personal trainer all day instead of having to take him to daycare or Monster Story, traditional Monster Story, etc. Because you have all these other rando kids with all their germs and sicknesses. Like, it's kind of tricky too, because it's good to let kids get sick in the short run because they'll build their immune system longer. But I'm just like more like, because now that our family, like me, Cindy's family, there's a bunch of kids too. They all kind of get sick, so I'm okay if like kids within our family share germs with each other and get sick, whatever. But I'm like, nah, not with all these other like rando kids and stuff like that. And so the funny thing is, in America, we're so kind of like funny, hypocritical, because traditional Protestant Christian morality is like one must have infinite compassion and empathy towards all people and all kids. 네, 엄마가 집에 있어요. 우리 로디오 39 가서 arcade 기계하고 놀자. Okay. And but one only has a limited bandwidth of care, and like especially once you have your own kid, right? Like, bro, your kid, your wife or partner or whatever you want to call them, it's like you guys barely afloat. Like, prioritize your guys' personal well-being and your being able to be afloat. And then if you have somehow superfluous energy, then extend your compassion towards other people. Otherwise, it makes more sense to have like self-compassion, compassion towards yourself, towards your wife, to your kid, and then everybody else is I don't know if it's worth to spend the extra energies on this, because we all have a finite amount of physiological energy in a day and care. I think it's good to be conservative with your care. Like, more colloquially, there's only so much that you could give an F about. I call it F points. Not so bad, right? Let's call them fuck points, right? It's like, I only have so many given F's to give in a certain day. Let's say like I have 10 F points, right? And every time I do something that like either caters to myself or to Seneca, whatever, it goes down. So if you only have 10 F points in a day, and then you're giving those F points to like random strangers you don't know, or like celebrities or gossip or news or social media or even outside family, it's like you want to conserve those F points to give an F about yourself, your immediate family, whatever, not to other people, random stuff, right? So always prioritize your kid, your wife, yourself, your family, etc. Also, another pro tip too, and I'm just speaking to you like as if you're a dude with a kid or gonna have a kid, your wife or something. Your wife is actually more important than your kid. Your kid's gonna be fine. Like, I grew up with like essentially like a not so attentive, not a good dad. I had a great mom, not a good dad. And I turned out fine. So it's like, of course you're gonna be more loving and caring for your kid than maybe your parents did, whatever. And if you prioritize yourself and your wife, everything's gonna be good.